a state which brightens with one among the first rays of the sun in India. She embraces diverse landforms and cultures. Before going into present, let's understand the demography of Manipur. Inner Valley is mostly inhabited by Methi community. They are mainly Hindu Vaishnavites. Most of them even follow Sanhamism. There are even Methi Pangals who believe in Islam and Methi Christians. Hilly region is home for 34 tribes, mainly divided into two ethno-denominations. They mainly believe in Christianity, whereas some even believe in their original animism, worship of nature and its spirits.
Malaysia, Singapore, North Korea. When the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom.
Manipur became independent state with its own flag and constitution. After King Bodh Chandra Singh signed Shillong Accord with India, Manipur became part of India. From 1956 to 1972, Manipur was union territory, administered by central government, and attained statehood in 1972. Manipur's present scenario has many angles. Based on the land settlement, and Metis ask for scheduled tribe status. At the core of the land issues lies legal frameworks under Article 371C and Manipur Land Revenue and Land Reform Act 1960. In 1960, MLR and LR Act gave special provisions to STs. Tribes could only transfer their land to other tribe. Coming to Article 371C, which was added in 27th Amendment Act of 1971. It is a special provision relating to Manipur, which provides for the constitution and functioning of Hill Areas Committee. To understand Hill Area Committee, let's first see seat sharing of Manipur Legislative Assembly. Yellow representing unreserved seat, green representing scheduled tribe reserved seat, and red representing scheduled caste reserved seat. There are 19 seats reserved for scheduled tribes. These 19 MLAs, along with the one appointed by the governor, form Hill Area Committee, totally consisting of 20 members. In brief, non-tribal people could not buy land in hilly areas without the permission of Hill Area Committee. Another important part is Methi asking for scheduled tribe status. The Indian Express reads that Metis had submitted several requests for ST status to the center from 2013. Present unrest in Manipur started after an order passed by High Court of Manipur, which directed the state government to consider the request of Metis inclusion into ST list within 4 weeks and send recommendation to Union Government of India. Let's understand the process how a community becomes a scheduled tribe. Constitution has made this provision in Article 342. State along with the governor recommends committees to President. President, if satisfied, issues a public notification to Parliament of India. Parliament may by law include or exclude communities into ST list by an Act of Parliament. Even Chief Justice of India remarked that it is power of President to designate a scheduled caste or a scheduled tribe. High Court had no jurisdiction. To recommend a community into ST list, it has to satisfy local committee's criteria, which was set up in 1975. Criteria are indicative of primitiveness, distinct culture, geographical isolation, inhibition with larger community, which means shyness to contact with larger community, and backwardness. Violence began on May 3rd after all tribal students union of Manipur held a solidarity march in districts of Manipur. Metis claim that they were considered as tribes before independence, which is mentioned in the Linguistic Survey of India Part 3 and Volume 3. Also, Metis claim that Impal Valley is becoming congested and need more land for development, while emphasizing tribal people can buy land in Impal, whereas non-tribals cannot buy land in tribal areas. Metis have blamed cookies of infiltration from Myanmar, illegal poppy cultivation, drugs menace, militant outfits, blaming Myanmar coup of 2021 along with the free movement regime border between India and Myanmar are causing unnatural population growth in hilly areas. Metis people feel that their ancestral land, traditions, culture and language have to be protected. Metis even ask for NRC, National Register of Citizens, to differentiate between old cookies and new cookies. Along with the ask for NRC, Metis have demanded the cancellation of SOO, suspension of operations, signed with cookie insurgent groups in 2008. We'll understand SOO later in this video. Cookies, along with the other tribal groups, say that Metis enjoy demographic as well as political advantages. While quoting, 40 legislators out of 60-member Legislative Assembly are majorly from Metis community. Cookies have upheld the imparity between the development of Impal Valley and hilly areas. Here's an article from the print which shows the status of hill area activity. Even Chief Minister of Manipur had acknowledged economic disparity between hill areas and Impal Valley. Nagas and Cookies even fear of losing more jobs to Metis if ST status is granted to them. Many Cookies were evicted for encroaching reserved forests and protected forests. Indigenous Leaders Tribals Forum stating it as discriminatory, derogatory, and unforgivable, as tribal communities are treated like foreigners or Myanmaris in their own land. Eviction was based on the violation of Indian Forest Act of 1927, Manipur Forest Act Rule of 2021, and Forest Conservation Act of 1980. Protection of forest comes under concurrent list, which means both central government and state can make laws on it. Coming to Forest Act of 1927, it gives government the power to create different classes of forests. To define the procedure to be followed for declaring an area as reserved forest, protected forest, or village forest. Reserved forest having highest protection. And to regulate movement and transit of forest produce. According to the Section 1A of this Act, the forest officer may evict from a reserved forest if they feel there is trespassing. Reserved forest is declared by state government. Kuki advocates say that poor tribal people are blamed for poppy cultivation, whereas drug kingpins are making profits and are set free. It is government's responsibility for enforcing anti-drug laws strictly and monitoring the borders, instead of blaming only tribals. Monitoring and fencing Indian borders is important because it is sandwiched between Golden Triangle and Golden Crescent. These two are largest opium producing regions of the world.
मान्यवर मणिपुर में जो हिंसक घटनाएं हुई है वो क्यों हुई है, क्या स्थिति है और इससे निपटने के लिए हमने क्या कुछ किया है, इसकी डिटेल बात मैं अभी करूंगा।
According to Article 355, it is responsibility of central government to restore peace in any state if there is external or internal disturbance. After the violence, internet was shut down, AFSPA was deployed, there was a buffer zone created between valley and hilly region, deploying army and Assam rifles. To understand AFSPA and other actions taken by the government, let's see what are the issues handled by Ministry of Home Affairs. Northeastern Division has been made to deal with internal security and law and order issues in northeastern states. Issues handled by Northeastern Division are implementation of various accords agreements signed with various groups and peace talks with various insurgent groups of Northeastern region. Administration of Armed Forces Special Act 1958 and implementation of Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967. The AFSPA gives unfettered powers to armed forces and central armed police forces deployed in disturbed areas to kill anyone acting in contravention of law and arrest and search any premises without warrant. Northeastern Division also facilitates resolution of interstate boundary disputes between various northeastern states and bilateral talks on security related issues with Bangladesh and Myanmar. And these are the remaining issues handled by Northeastern Division of Ministry of Home Affairs. Coming back to present day situation, there was a news article telling SOO camps were regularly checked. Let's understand what is SOO. SOO means suspension of operation. It is a tripartite agreement between State of Manipur, central government and 25 Kuki insurgent groups. Under two conglomerate organizations, UPF and KNO. UPF being United People's Front, KNO being Kuki National Organization, which was signed in 2008. Insurgency takes place when they don't believe in constitution. They wage war against government by using violent methods to fulfill their demands. Agreement was signed by fulfilling some of the demands of insurgent groups. Some rules were also imposed on them. They were prohibited from all type of atrocities and violence. And militant cadres had to be confined to designated camps identified by central government. Arms were kept under lock and the key was given to army and Kuki leaders. Kuki's demand for separate state, the Kuki land, was put forward during talks with government. Each community has different demands, hence causing difficulty to fulfill. As if one community's demand is fulfilled, other will not be.
अगर राज्य का गवर्नर केंद्र सरकार को, राष्ट्रपति जी को ये बताता है, ये स्थिति से अवगत कराता है कि हमारा राज्य जल रहा है, हमारे राज्य के अंदर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर ब्रेकडाउन हो गया है, संवैधानिक मशीनरी काम नहीं कर पा रही है, तो उसी समय तुरंत प्रभाव से केंद्र सरकार को, राष्ट्रपति जी को उस राज्य में राष्ट्रपति शासन घोषित करना होता है।
और ये कहते हैं 356 क्यों ना लगाया? 356 तब लगती है जब हिंसा के समय राज्य सरकार कोऑपरेट न करे।
Article 356, also known as President Rule or State Emergency. It deals with failure of constitutional machinery in the state and allows President to assume any and all functions of the state. It can be imposed for 6 months at a time for maximum 3 years. After 6 months, Parliament's approval is needed to reimpose President's rule. Unrest has many layers. Only few reasons can be known through digital media. Peace talks are going on with Kuki and Methi leaders. Hope Manipur will be restored with peace as soon as possible.